Nate Shelman, how are you?
I learned a lot on Monday.
What did you learn, Nate?
I learned that I'm a pedophile. I smell like a pedophile.
Who smelled you?
Well, the people that were drum beating all of us in the ringing their bells and all that. Afterwards, I had a lady come up to me and ask me how was it going to the Nazi meeting, and which is hilarious to me because I'm half Jewish. So I told her that. I was like, by the way, you just asked that question to somebody who's half Jewish. What I should have said was, sorry, I was at the human sacrifice. The Nazi meeting was right down the hall. I could have gotten the BOGO, but
It was Boise Center West, not East.
that's right. That's
Oh.
right. Yeah. But it was you know what, it was for us, you see all this stuff, like you see Minneapolis on TV and you go, gosh, there's part of me that wonders, and I'm broken. What's that like to just go through? Because there's somebody there who turns a corner and has no idea
What they were just walking into.
Right. They're literally walking the dog. You're like, what's all this sound? And there they are with people drumming and chanting and all this. And it's not because the president was in town. It's not because the vice president was in town. It's not because any member of the administration was in town, just the president's son. That's it.
I literally had the thought of, I parked, I was walking over there, I'm like, what's all that noise? And then as I got closer, I'm like, oh no, you idiot, you should have known this is what's going to happen. And I turned the corner and I see the swath of law enforcement, the insanity. I'm like, how is this going down right now? This is wild. And then what was wild is once you got through the security and you got through all the stuff, they put you inside. I'm like, can we just get on the elevator and go up now? They're like, no, you got to wait. I'm like, why are we waiting? Why are we standing here in front of the glass door?
There's a thing. Yeah. I mean, just the protocols for Secret Service are not ever for us to understand.
Yeah.
I've learned that over time. Like if you have any question, you are not allowed as an outsider to have any knowledge, period. Yeah. And that's by design, and you get it, right? I mean, I get it. But the whole night was fantastic. It was neat, throwing stuff. I was at a table with the mayor, and he and I were throwing stuff, and an elected official, but the mayor and I were throwing stuff back and forth at each other. We were all the way in the back. That's where they put the free seats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you're at the table next to me.
Yep.
And I kept on trying to make, my friendly finger gesture to you, but we're at a room of 600 people and not everyone's in on the joke.
Right.
So
never stopped you, though.
Yeah, no. But you know what? I got to tell you, it was a nice Q&A. It's always good to hear, what it's like being in rooms, and how skeptical you are. You'll never know if you get the true, right? What's it like to be at the Trump dinner table and to be at this massive power family table? We'll never know. But when the sun tells us and gives us a glimpse of that, you're like, all right, that's what I'm walking away with.
First off, I learned that not all headwear is acceptable in Idaho. If I had a 10-gallon bucket hat, that would be fine. But you wear one baseball cap around that you bought for yourself, and everybody stares at you.
And that's your brand. If you had walked in there without the hat on, nobody would have known who you were.
I almost wore that sweatshirt.
Really?
No, I wasn't going to wear that. I was going to wear this one, the Real Sugar. This is the other thing. Listening to the Q&A, I realize now that I know what I know about the state of Idaho, there are talking points that people bring up that I'm confident the vast majority of the populace loosely just goes along with, like, oh, we get hosed on the international trade stage, but nobody actually knows what that means. Right? Because they don't know that Brazilian sugarcane producers overproduce, and then the government subsidizes them and then ships the remaining sugarcane that they can't absorb domestically to Canada, who liquefies it into a molasses-like product, ships that over the U.S. border, saying it's molasses and not sugar, and then refines out the sugar and then sells the sugar tear-free on the open market. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that the EU exports to the United States $3 billion worth of dairy products, but they only import $150 million. That's a 95-5 imbalance. Nobody knows these things. So when he's up there, well, that's a great question.
and I'm not talking about people like you, because you care.
I do.
I care. And, we're doing this for insight and knowledge. And if you can't tell somebody directly how that affects them in 20 words or less, you lose them.
I got you.
That's it.
You're upset over tariffs from 2025, but why were the tariffs proposed and executed?
You made an assumption.
No, I'm saying to people
okay.
that are upset.
Got it.
Right. This is why.
Okay.
If you know about the dairy imbalance, if you know about Brazilian sugar,
right.
if you know these things, you don't have to agree with the tariffs from 2025, but at least you have perspective of
have knowledge.
Okay. So when they say we're getting hosed, like that's Brian, my neighbor, he's a sugar beet farmer. Brian's getting screwed by Brazil. Okay. I don't like the tariffs, but I also don't like Brian getting screwed by Brazilian sugarcane.
Right.
Okay, great. We can disagree, but we're now dealing with a full deck. We're playing the same game again. That's why it's important. If people don't care, but then they have an opinion about it.
Right.
Like, I don't care. Don't tell me about Brazilian sugar. I just don't like the tariffs. It's like, okay, you're not going to be able to. I can't, like my head. Oh, my eyes.
We'll start with the small words.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, again, listening to those larger talking points. It's like, okay, so these are things that group disagrees with. They say that's not true. This group just agrees with. But how many people in the middle actually know, have enough information to assess whether this is accurate or not?
And how do you change it incrementally, or do you move the mountain? And that's, to a degree, I have to give the administration this credit. Screw it. Let's move the mountain. Forget about little bit at a time. Forget about incrementalism. Let's move the mountain. Let's do it until they tell us we can't. And if they tell us we can't, let's do it anyway. And there's, the one takeaway I had when Don Jr. was talking about right before the announcement was made, and his dad said to him, according to Don Jr., everything is according to Don Jr., we're going to find out who our friends are. And like that moment to me is like, to be able to take that, whether you're doing this and I don't know how much you reserve for yourself, Matt, and how much you lay out here, because to some degree we are humans and we keep something to ourselves. But I think there was a threshold crossing for him where he's like, you know what? I'm making this step. I'm going all in. This is the way it is. Now, a number of us don't have the mass resources that he has to be able to do that on his own with the different help that he had versus what every other politician has had. But for him to know the system, get wealthy by the system, and then say, yeah, I know how to work the system, but the system's rigged. Let's change the system. I know the system's rigged. I got rich working the system legally.
That I did not design. You guys designed it. I played by the rules. I made money.
Yeah. I mean, and that's some amount of, gosh, you take a look at that and you go, so how much can somebody like that change everything from whether it's a farmer, whether it's whether it's steel, whether it's auto, all of it. And it was neat to see. It was neat to see the stage presentation. It was neat to. I don't know how much scuttlebutt was at your table, but there was, sitting in the back, right by the, right by the, where people are walking. You hear things. I don't know if you. I wasn't even facing the stage. I was facing the end of the room. I was facing the back of the room, because.
Yeah, me too.
While everyone's looking at the stage,
right.
You know what's going on up there. There's 4 people talking. But you get that many people full of ego, full of power, full of desire in a room, and there's going to be some secrets. There's going to be some things talked about. There's going to be some meetings in the back, and there's going to be some. It's going to say, hey, so when are you going to put in your candidate?
The thing. Who's running? Is he running?
When are you going to make your announcement?
Is he passing a bill? Because if he doesn't pass the bill,
did you hear about so and so?
Yeah.
hanging out back there, and it's all off record. Right. So, just knowing what the background is and watching people interact.
When you talk about background, when you talk about moving mountains, I've come to understand certain industries needed this type of person. For instance, nuclear. Okay, the nuclear industry has been sitting stagnant for like the last 40 years, right. 40 plus. And one of the problems is when they came in, when President Trump came in for a second term, and they set a target of getting the actual target was 6 reactors going critical by July 4th of 26. They're like, all right, 18 months? Are you crazy?
Something you don't want to rush.
Yes, but here's the thing. They're very aware that if they can't get reactors critical by July, come midterm elections, all bets could be off. So they're like, listen, man, we can't take a step. We need to move the mountain now, because if we don't move the mountain now, the way the system is designed, the nuclear industry will never have a shot. We will, because you need this force of will and this like unprecedented push, which apparently is on target to actually happen. Like INL is going to have 3 new small reactors going critical by July 4th.
And if they didn't set the number at 6, it wouldn't have been 3.
Right. They didn't say 1. Right. They said 6.
Yeah. So,
and they're going to get there. Like there are aspects of what has happened in this administration that unless you're paying attention to these individual industries, lumber's another one. Right. Like we've been getting hosed by the Canadian government as far as lumber trade forever. And you have lumber mills that have largely shut down because of environmental concerns, which by the way, turns out, thanks Bard Owl, anyway, turned out to not be accurate. And
but we got to hold on to it. We gotta hold on to that. We gotta hold on to Mother Nature's creatures. We gotta hold on to that. We are stewards of nature as well. We gotta hold on to that mindset. Meanwhile, I just drank at a place called the Mill, and beside the Mill in McCall. I mean, what used to be a working mill is now a great restaurant and bar. I bet you some people would rather that be an actual lumber mill. Go on the other side on 95, and you can see where one of the remaining lumber mills is, but it would be nice to have more of those mills working at capacity.
I heard this thing 2 weeks ago, which kind of stopped me. And they're like, if you're not growing it, it's mined. And if you can't grow the cotton, if like whatever the table, if it's not made out of wood, it's made out of something that was mined. If you're, it's like all of it, every single thing, if it's not grown, it's mined. And our lack of perspective, my lack of perspective on that, my entire life, it's like, oh my God, it's all mined here. Like all of this is coming out of the ground unless, okay, it's a little bit of wood. Right. That's the tissue or I don't know, whatever.
But the plastic,
everything. But we have this incredible luxury of just being like, no, I don't want it. And again, to our detriment, because by the way, all the people we rely on this stuff now, I don't know, live in China.
I would love to see how much of this, I would love to see, there's got to be somebody who's a hippie in China. There's got to be somebody who sees, the milkweed on the ground and goes, sorry, we can't have cattle here because that plant's important. And then just to have everybody just freeze for a second and then start laughing at them, because it's like, I don't know, the food's pretty freaking important too,
How about all the consumption we have? Anyway, the point is that there are these, I'm not big in, believe it or not, I'm not big in politics, and I don't watch national politics hardly at all. Like I focus almost exclusively on Idaho. So like the whole rally, like people getting pumped up, like, oh, this is an important person. It's like, I don't know anything about it, but I do appreciate it.
I get it. You're cool, Matt. I get it. You're cool. You're cool.
I don't even believe in it.
Tell me how cool you. I only focus on Idaho.
Well, What are you
Look
gonna
at my
focus
baseball
on?
hat. I'm the only one here that wore a baseball hat.
No, and you're like Go America 250. Look at you.
No,
I had Jess Whiting on yesterday. She's the 250,000 acts of kindness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was cool. That's it. That's my whole story.
I came on this program. That's one.
That's one. An act of
I tried to get you on my program
I'm
yesterday.
trying to help amateur media. Yeah, I was in the middle of 7 back-to-back interviews, but your amateur media, I appreciate.
Poor
Thank
little
you.
eyes.
Thank you for coming on.
You're not amateur. No, you're listen. You
Localized media.
You're not amateur. Localized is what media should be, but you're not amateur by any stretch. So.
Well, I have hoodies, so that's an official thing. Listen, when we lined this up, we didn't know that. Well, I didn't know I was going to that thing.
Same.
Okay. So we are at the end of month 2 of the Idaho legislative session.
Mm-hmm.
They're only supposed to be 3 months. What do you see?
I see. So far, it's what I haven't seen.
What have you not seen?
I have not seen what I would think would be fury of budget cuts that I hoped would be after a summer of Doge, after a summer of Idaho Doge, and I found it weird. Gosh, I got a message from one of the lawmakers that hey, we just voted away the Women's Commission, and like
how much money does that save you?
Right, and I mean you're probably looking at I don't know $600,000. And they were talking about getting rid of the Commission on Hispanic Affairs, which is probably another $600,000.
200.
Sorry, $200,000. Well, that's overhead. How about expenses? Are you including expenses? Make sure you include expenses.
It's like I think it's 250 all in, but we're trying to close a hole of like $250 million.
And I take a look at JFACs, or you have certain people saying, hey, I know we told you that K through 12 wasn't going to be touched. Can you just work us a 1-2% budget cut? No. And they said okay, and just went along. Like, when did we start getting sacred cows? Don't walk through a classroom and tell me you can't cut somewhere.
Well, I think that's a great great question, but as per Superintendent Debbie Critchfield, they actually took off the table requests for I think it was $100 million for special ed, and then also cut back things from IDLA and some other programs. So ahead of the session, they were already cutting.
Sure.
So sacred cow, I think not, considering they already made cuts.
Cool opinion. I would say it is. When you have when you just have anybody, take any department, say,
sure,
what does it look like if you trim your budget? Because go through the exercise, or somebody will do it to you.
Shall we cut airline safety?
Which part?
Okay,
exactly. You speak in a broad brush like that. Which part? A redundancy that's unnecessary, or what are we talking?
I'm just saying, it's very easy to say, hey, we shouldn't have sacred cows.
Right.
And then you go back to okay, so for instance, here's one. Should we cut Idaho Department of Corrections budget? Now, hey, here we go. Let's apply this.
I'll play this. Let's go.
Let's give them 3% cut.
Okay.
Now, why is that relevant? I'll tell you why that's relevant, Nate. So currently, Idaho Department of Corrections is insufficiently facilitated, meaning they don't have enough space for the current inmates. We've topped 10,000 for the first time ever. That means that currently we are shipping people to Arizona.
Right.
Okay. Arizona, by the way, charges more than we could house them. So we're losing money because we don't have space. That's fine. No big deal. We don't want to put the capital up front.
Build more jails, save the overhead.
Prison versus jails are different.
Okay.
So Idaho Department of Corrections doesn't have any space. What that means to you and me, being Ada County residents, is the Ada County Sheriff right now in the Ada County Jail that you and I are funding have people that have been charged and convicted of crimes and need to be serving time in the Idaho State prison system, which means people in Coeur d'Alene pay for this, people in Idaho Falls pay for this, people in Owyhee County pay for this. This is not an Ada County problem.
Right.
These are now state inmates. But because the Idaho Department of Corrections currently is underfunded and doesn't have space for them, they leave those inmates in the Ada County Jail. Now, to be fair, The state government does in fact reimburse Ada County to the tune of $70 a day. Awesome. That's awesome. Until you know that it costs over $120 per day to house these inmates. Who's paying the 50?
Ada.
You and I.
Right.
Now, are these our problem? No, this is a state person. We are not responsible for them just because they got charged and convicted here. They should now be essentially a ward of the state. Okay, that's relevant. Because if you want to cut IDOC's funding further, you are going to further exacerbate the $15 million that Ada and Canyon and a couple other counties subsidize the state budget for Idaho Department of Corrections. But kudos to JFAC, 3% off the top, no problem. You cannot, in my mind, in good conscience, make a decision like this and say we're right-siding government and we're trimming the budget and everybody can cut fat when you're passing the cost off to you and I. We didn't do anything. Why isn't Bannock County paying for this? Why isn't Twin Falls? Because they just happen to be here. So we're already underfunding state-level institutions and passing that localized onto individual Idaho citizens. That is not fiscal responsibility.
No.
That's scamming and abusing the actual geographic proximity to these problems. Just because we live here, we're now paying for it. Talk to me about that.
Are they talking about building another jail?
Okay, prisons. Prison versus jail.
Are they talking?
And yeah, they
One
can't.
more time, Dad. Are they talking about building another prison?
No, because Bree Derrick, the director of IDOC, can't get any funding from JFAC. And JFAC's happy to keep cutting the budget because
they have the
we
space.
subsidize it.
They have the space.
We have land, if that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Sure.
Right. I mean, and I don't speed there, but there's plenty of space.
Sure.
Out in that neck of the woods.
Sure. Anywhere you want.
Build another building.
We have land.
Yes.
How about this one? Let's cut health and welfare. Sure. 3% off the top. You know what they cut?
What you got?
They cut the assertive community, it's the ACT program, assertive community treatment. You know what the assertive community treatment does? Schizophrenic and extreme bipolar. Now, these individuals, Bob lives in his house. We don't have mental institutions like we used to in the 80s. So what we have is Bob staying in his house. Now, it costs about $80 to keep Bob in his house if you send out an ACT counselor. The ACT counselor goes out and they're like, "Hi, Bob. How are you?" And he's like, and you're like, "Okay, Bob, here's the deal. Are you taking your meds? Do you have doctor's appointments? Let me check your fridge, Bob. I'm just going to look in the fridge, make sure you got food there." Because what do we want? Bob is a member of our community. We don't want Bob wandering through the streets. We want Bob staying on his meds. We want to make sure Bob makes it to his doctor's appointment. And if the ACT counselor goes there and Bob's not there, "Hey man, where's Bob? Why don't we go find him? Last time we saw him like over at this bar, or last time he was wandering by the elementary school. Let's get in the car." They go, "Hey, Bob. Hey, come here, Bob. Hang on, come hang out." Great. That was assertive community treatment. That got cut. Now, what that means is Bob is now in his house. Whether he's taking his meds, whether there are eggs in his fridge, whether he's next to the elementary school, no one knows. The counselor, counselor's now in a department somewhere, wondering if Bob's gonna, I don't know, transport himself all across the city to come see the counselor. Odds are no. Since that got cut, December 1, 3 dead people that were on this program. And communities that now have to deal with people leaving the house. Schizophrenic, extreme bipolar. I don't know, man. Should we have sacred cows? I don't know anything about it. I just know that there ain't no way you're going to square with Bob now not having somebody to check on this, and his neighbors know, okay, Bob started wandering around because nobody's come to check in on him. I don't know, man. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how to fund things. I don't know how communities work. I don't know how politics work. All I know is when you tell me that you and I, just because we live in Ada County, we have to subsidize the Idaho Department of Corrections because the state cut the budget, and now Bob's wandering around our communities near our elementary schools. I don't know, man. I get itchy. What should we do, Nate?
Well, there are other programs that are out there.
How do you mean?
That is the loudest I've ever heard you drink anything. My Lord. I
gotta stay hydrated, baby. Come on.
Yeah, and I've done the same. One of the first things I was stuck on was the Commission on Hispanic Affairs.
Sure.
And I was just, I mean, for years they didn't do anything. They've actually stepped up. They do a lot of trade stuff. They do a lot of marketing and all that. But I couldn't figure out what they did that Poder of Idaho didn't do.
Sure.
And it's just like, okay, if that goes away, there's another organization who can pick that up. There's another organization who probably is already doing a better job than a state-funded agency.
Only do that which the citizenry cannot do for themselves.
Okay.
That's a very classic principle that I've heard Senator Risch say a million times. Totally get what you're saying.
Can and are there other programs to help out Bob? And I'm not working familiar enough with that community to know what programs are out there.
Sure.
Knowing that there are a number of different programs for everything, and not so many of them are government funded. But there are charities out there. There are things out there. There are programs out there that can help. Does it solve everybody?
I got two for you.
Sure.
County jail and emergency room.
Okay,
because those
not
are
a government.
the two,
that's not a government program, but
those are two places where these people end up.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point about solving it,
oh, there's no solving it. People get sick. Schizophrenia happens.
Sure.
Right.
But having somebody who's schizophrenic get picked up by the police and stored in the county jail because they're doing some crazy schizophrenic stuff, that's not even that. First off, we're paying for that again.
Mm-hmm.
Way more expensive. Going to an emergency room, that's not resolving anything. Way more expensive. I'm not saying that I don't know. Okay. Let me be clear. I don't know what the other available programs are, but I do know in the absence of the ACT program, those people, the people that were patients in the ACT program will absolutely have a much greater frequency of ending up in jails and emergency rooms, which will ultimately cost the taxpayers way more money, which is why it's like, are you saving $1 million? Are you cutting $1 million, but it's going to cost you 10?
Right.
Right. And who is it costing? You're going to cut some money off of JFAC, off of IDOC from JFAC. You're saving money, but you're passing it on literally to localized communities that have no reason to be paying for this.
Well, they could build a new prison and save money that way.
They could.
Right.
They could stop sending people to Arizona. And I don't know all of the financials. I don't know. All I know is that you and I right now are subsidizing the lack of funding going to IDOC. You and I, just because we live in Ada County, and other people aren't. There are, I think, like 14 counties within the state of Idaho that don't even have jails. So they don't even have, if you said, hey, but what if all of the people that were convicted were evenly distributed across all the counties? It's like, okay, I could kind of squint and maybe see that. That's not even the case.
Right.
Those Lewis County, they don't even have a jail. Okay, it's impossible for them to be then carrying the burden of the inmates that are sitting in Ada County.
Yeah. The one excuse or one message I heard, I'm not going to say excuse, message I heard was the cutting of funding to Metro Meals on Wheels. That if the funding was cut to
Meals on Wheels,
Meals on Wheels.
Tell me about the program.
And it's Meals on Wheels. It's making
elderly people,
sick elderly people, right? And the government funding portion of it made up like 10% of the overall budget for Meals on Wheels.
Where's the other 90% come from?
Donations, hospitals,
great,
all that stuff. It's like, but the argument, when I hear the argument of, well, if you cut this, everyone's going to starve. I am just always now naturally suspect of that, because I know people who drive for Meals on Wheels. I know people who donate to Meals on Wheels, and all they're going to do is, they lost their government funding. All right, well, I guess we'll have to dig a little deeper and make up for it.
Shake the trees with the donors, write for more grants, whatever it might be.
And not every problem, not every problem is a Meals on Wheels problem, and not every problem is a Department of Corrections problem.
Yes,
they are different problems.
Yes. Which is why I temper this with I don't know, but I do know when you say, hey, could we identify anything like a sacred cow? It's like, I don't know about sacred cows, but I do know there are cuts that seem to be resulting in things that are not fair. I don't like paying taxes.
Right. Nobody does.
Nobody does. Why am I paying more taxes because the state doesn't want to fund a state program. Anyone could understand that frustration. Everyone should get behind this and be like, this is ridiculous. Canyon and Ada County, $15 million coming out of our tax rolls.
And they were just a couple of percentages away from actually getting another realm, another wing on the jail.
I'm not going to correct you.
No, it was the Ada County. Wasn't it the Ada County jail?
It was less than 1%, first off. And the jail is not the thing that's underfunded. It's the Idaho Department of Corrections.
Right, but they tried to expand the jail.
Yes, but the jail is not under corrections. The jail is under Ada County Sheriff.
But they wanted to expand the jail to make room for the more people.
Well, okay, here's a great point. Sheriff Donahue just came on. And so walk with me through people going to Arizona, Idaho Department of Corrections, you're over it. Shift those people that are waiting to go to Department of Corrections down to the county jails. Okay, great. County jails are over population. Here's one for you. They were so overpopulation. And by the way, Canyon County Sheriff and the jail system lost a 17-item lawsuit like 15 years ago. They were in violation, overcrowding, all these problems.
Home of the bubble?
It was bad. It's bad.
The Ada County, the Canyon County jail bubble was fantastic.
Okay, there we go. So this is what they did. It was definitely before me.
Okay.
But what they started doing is they started doing pretrial release and a number of other things to get people out on the street. Now, mind you, if you have a bunch of like unpaid parking tickets and like they're really bad, yeah, man, you might be thrown in jail. But they're like, look, bro, we don't have space because, by the way, we're storing like 100 inmates that should be convicted people.
There's people worse than you, right?
Yes, they should be going to the state prison. They're not getting picked up, so we don't have space for you. That sounds fine to let the guy with the parking tickets go. They now let go people charged with felonies. So people, and let's make the gross assumption that when charged with a felony, high probability that that person actually will be convicted of a felon. So these people are being charged with felonies, high probability they are felons, and they are on pretrial release, which means, per Sheriff Donahue, you have people that are victimizing and criminalizing the communities because there's no space at the jail, because there's no space at Idaho Department of Corrections, and we're paying more for it. How? And so, Ada County Sheriff, same problem, tried to expand the jail because guess what? Like they're doing the best they can with alternative sentencing. They're doing the best they can with pretrial releases. They're still overcrowded. And at least part of that is because JFAC won't fund IDOC.
We need to shoot more of them.
Oh my God.
We need to shoot more of them. We have the ability to use a firing squad, and we can't figure out a way to use the firing squad.
I think we know how to use it.
Well, knowing and being able to are two different things. Because
which ones do you want to shoot, Nate?
Well, let's start off with death row. I mean, let's go there rather than because apparently finding a line is really difficult. So let's start with the ones on death row, and then we'll go to the rapists and the child molesters. If you're asking me, I'll answer you. I got a whole bunch of people on my list.
What was it? What was that movie, the Adam Sandler movie where he called the guy to apologize? It wasn't Billy Madison, was it? Called the dude from high school. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry I was a jerk in high school." And the guy's like, "Oh, thanks for the call." And he crosses him off.
Steve Buscemi. Yeah. I think it actually was Billy Madison. Yes, I think it was.
I'm sure you have a list. And I just want to apologize for everything bad I've done.
No. And I mean, listen, I know I'm not in charge of all of it either. But what I will see and what you will see for the next month is that mad scramble. And everyone's going to be angry until they're not. And I find it interesting that the number one priority is all right, let's get under budget. Let's fit in our budget. The other side of this, and I'm just going to go nuts here since you and I've talked about this before, is there are other funding mechanisms that don't involve drugs and don't involve building things that we probably could legalize and bring some money back into Idaho.
Like what?
DraftKings.
Oh, you just want to so revenue sources through like gambling.
Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, just online gambling. And
is that illegal in Idaho?
It's illegal in Idaho. There are certain legal mechanisms, but it's not the real thing. And if you want the good stuff, if you want the real stuff, you got to get the VPN. Sorry, you have to go to Oregon and
or to VPN.
Yeah.
Thank you for sponsoring this video.
Do it that way. But and it's to see the parallelization by analyzation aspect of it, where you have 40 other states that are able to do this, and Idaho, well, we don't know if we want this here. Why? But honestly, tell me why. You know, they passed a porn law, right? Remember the porn law that they passed? Now Idaho has to, apparently, you got to prove you're 18 years old to be able to go past here. Did that stop anything? I'm asking.
I've heard no.
Okay. So, I mean, literally, it was such a huge problem before. And now it's like, well, we fixed it. No one's looking at porn in Idaho anymore. Really? No, you passed a bill. So the one group of people who actually don't want underage people in their facilities or on their websites are actually the gambling ones, because they don't like losing money. They don't like dealing with any kids. They don't want to deal with your kids, let alone kids on the internet. So why not just make it legal here? Tax it. You're not going to solve the world's problems with it. You're not going to solve every ill. But you're also not going to create gamblers where gamblers didn't exist, because they're already doing it. So it's just a functional thing. And to me, it's a little bit different than the weed thing, because the weed thing is a little bit more, the word I'm looking for, more of a cultural thing. Not everybody wants. Do you have it in your neighborhood?
No, not, well, at least not that I know of.
I do. I have it in my neighborhood. And I don't like that every once in a while on a
beautiful summer day, you're outside barbecuing.
I got to close the window.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, do we have a skunk around here? I'm hungry. I don't want that to be downtown more than it is now.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be around the sporting events more than it is already, because it's a fleeting thing. It's not everywhere. I've walked around San Francisco after a Giants game, and that's all I smelled.
Right.
So I get it. And I'm not wild about it on the roads, but the gambling thing to me seems extremely easy to just go, cool, done.
Yeah.
You can do this now. And I know it's going to take rewriting the statute for it and so on and so forth, and I just don't care. Just get it done.
Can I ask you something? You've been at this game. You've been at this game for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You've been following Idaho politics. You've been aware of parties and legislators, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is only my second year really covering Idaho politics.
You're going to have every candidate on again?
Oh my God.
You going to do that again? Hey, there's what are we up to now? Five Republican gubernatorial candidates. You're going to have all of them on?
Oh no, I'm not doing any of that.
You're going to have them all on again?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No, why?
No.
You didn't have fun the last time?
No, it's not. I will be covering some of the elections. I am not covering the governor's election.
There's not going to be one.
Exactly.
It's
at least not on this show.
It's covered a little in the Five Dwarves. I mean, it's
oh my God.
There's the governor's election for you. So if anyone's offended by that, I don't care. It's just the way it's going to turn out.
I'm going to Twin Falls.
Okay.
I'm going to Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Coeur d'Alene.
Okay.
I will do those interviews in those specific districts.
Okay.
And it's going to be a great old time.
Sweet.
It's going to be awesome. But
the political stuff.
Yeah. You've been at this for a while. This is my first round. Like, I covered 25, and of course that was, new legislators coming in. That was their first. This is their second session. Now we're going through. So for me, it's like, wow, this is really crazy. And all I really know of the legislatures is what I've interacted with, right? And the whole like Claw and then Hall and then Grayson Stone, it's like, wow, there's somebody different in that seat. It's like, yeah, this happens all the time. Somebody gets sick, somebody drops out. And now we're going to have an election and whole new people come in. But you, Nate, you're going to be the same guy after the election.
Yep.
I'm going to be the same guy after the election. And the priorities and the sentiment in the state change. Like, how do you keep track and orient yourself to the ever-changing political, machine, not the machine, but like the organism that's made up of like these 105 sweating, stinky people that are just with all their own hopes and dreams and denturitis or whatever.
And depending if they're inspired by his Lord and Savior, don't forget that. So praise be. And we grab a surfboard and try to stay on. And if you get knocked off, get back on the surfboard. That's how you cover politics, period. Because if you think the wave is just going to go on the way it is forever, oh no, you're going to get rocked at some point. Something's going to come out of nowhere and you just didn't expect it. Don't forget to enjoy it, because maybe you saw it coming. Maybe you can see a crash coming. How the Gang of Eight is going to perform in the primary, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I have no idea. We, without any of our money being used, we just went to a fundraiser for the Idaho Majority Club. How their candidates do, I don't know. Depending on who they're running and what their messaging is and where they get involved, no clue. And there's always going to be surprises. Try to get to what makes the people tick as much as possible, and then understand that even they change, because Idaho Freedom Foundation isn't the same Freedom Foundation today that it was when it first formed with Wayne Hoffman. And
that was like 2012.
Oh, yeah.
It's 15 or 16 years ago or something.
11, 12.
And Wayne left like 2 years ago, right?
Yes, ish.
And that's when the current president, Ron Nate, was originally in the legislature for like 2 years, right?
Eastern Idaho.
Yeah. There you go. And then left. Wayne left the IFF, and then they put in Ron Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know,
that's actually okay. Not on IFF, but
right.
the issues, I only know Idaho political issues around, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Right.
And those issues were predominantly national level talking points with like porn in libraries, fraud, waste, and abuse, like all, those really transgender, all of those things. What were the issues that people were talking about in 2018?
Gosh.
Like what were people arguing about then?
Grocery tax has been argued about since I got here.
Right.
And it's just the ever beating drum, and it's the fantastic thing of, and finally, Little said, pass it and I'll sign it. And amazingly enough, it never got anywhere. So, taxes were a thing. Growth was a thing. Trade was a huge issue, but
Sure.
We weren't concerned with health infrastructure. There was some concern about communication infrastructure. Transportation was a huge deal.
Okay, so normal things.
Right.
There were normal things, and you had to win the day on like, what are we going to do with ITD? Our ag producers are getting hosed over here. Are we funding our law enforcement? Like practical governance.
Immigration and workers has always been a thing.
Sure.
So,
not that you have any control over the immigration and workers,
but people like to talk about it. And
because it seems like a lot of the more extreme things won the day. That pendulum swung really hard over the last 4 years, but now it's like, who's still worried? Like, we passed 10 library bills. Like, who's still worried about the library bills? I just don't see that low-hanging fruit of reactionary, like, okay, we can get people really upset with this one thing, like porn in libraries, right? Like, there's not that key issue.
What's the thing you're worried about losing, and who's taking it from you?
Right.
And right now there's a bill. Oh gosh. It's meant to limit how many scholarships are given to out of country athletes. And
there's a bill and that's like college scholarships?
Yep. Here, I think it's Doug O'Conovitz's bill. 1280. Oh gosh, it's either 1289 or 1283. Forgive me.
I had no idea this was a thing.
It's not, but sorry. That being said, I'm trying to think of who woke up one day and said, we have too many foreign running backs. Or we have too many point guards from Australia in Idaho or whatever. And I understand solving the problem.
To identify the problem.
Right. Okay. And then you're going to tick some people off by telling them what they might not want to hear. And then have the discussion from there with all the cards on the table, because you want to talk about immigration? Let's talk about immigration, because the fact is not all illegal immigrants are the same. Period. There are good kinds and there are bad kinds. That's it. The good kinds are the ones that are not doing drugs and raping and all, and then the murdering and all of that, right? I mean, I can't imagine somebody who, and maybe they did something bad once upon a time and they got out of that country and now they're here and they're moving irrigation lines, which sucks. And, or they're changing the linens in a hotel room, which is something I wouldn't wish on anybody. Fine. Problem is you're still illegal. So, I mean, there's that. But if we get rid of, if we were to Thanos all of it away, good news, no longer have an illegal immigration problem. Bad news, there's a lot of stuff not getting milked, and there's a lot of stuff not getting, not going out. The chickens aren't being processed. The food's not being picked.
We're not building houses.
We're not building houses. We're not doing all this. And so the industry solution is the rules are too hard. And I have a problem with them making that statement because you can't look at me and tell me that you didn't know you were hiring people who shouldn't be here.
How do you mean?
Illegal immigrants.
And how are they supposed to determine that they're illegal?
By communicating. They can still choose to use E-Verify. It's not a perfect system, but they can still choose to use it. Anybody can use it. You can use it.
Okay, so what do you put into E-Verify?
As far as what? The
so
ID?
I'm a guy.
The name?
You're an employer.
The tax ID number?
I give you papers.
Right.
And you look at the paper, you're like, these look legit.
Mm-hmm.
And I put this thing into this thing, and it says that's a person, and that's a real Social Security number, and okay. Then what?
Then you've done your job.
Right. But what I'm saying is that can still lead to people employing individuals that are here illegally.
Oh.
So when you're saying you unequivocally know.
Oh, okay.
If
and I'll give you a firsthand example of this. When I was on a windshield factory line in Birmingham, Alabama, the head foreman, the shift foreman, and the the person that was in charge of the entire unit knew exactly who the illegals were, knew exactly what their names were.
Sure.
And those people actually had no problems. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Okay.
And we were all like, I mean, I was on the same line with them. Like I was just another worker. Like they were on flashing, and sorry, I went back there for a little bit. Hardest work I've ever done in my life.
Sure.
Right. And we're all getting paid the same. We were all making $7.50 an hour. Sucked. This was 2007. So I look at that person and go, you're not a bad person. You're not supposed to be here, but you're not a bad person. But you can't tell me the employer doesn't know who the illegals aren't.
But Nate,
yes,
I'm not disagreeing with your experience. And if you're saying I was in this experience with a company that unequivocally knew.
Every shift foreman knows.
I'll tell you what, I found out recently, I used to employ a legal immigrant. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is,
would you have if you knew?
I had a guy that's not the point.
I'm asking.
Well, okay, let me finish my point though.
Okay.
My point is that a painter of mine, and I got him from a friend of mine. I was like, hey, I need a painter. And he's like, oh,
so you hired him, not that you purchased him. Okay.
Oh my God, you're a terrible person.
What?
Nothing. And I was like, called this guy. I was like, Geronimo, like I got your number from Randy. Like I need some painting. He's like, great, be right there. So he came over, did painting, and I used him many, many times. And then I found out recently from the guy who referred him to me, he was like, I don't know if Geronimo's here legal. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I sent him like this 1090. Now, mind you, I wasn't sending him 1099s because the jobs I was engaging in were under $500.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, whatever. Just write him a check, and like a place was painted fine, whatever. So when you're like, hey man, whoever's employing an illegal immigrant de facto knows. I'm like, I didn't know.
You didn't
and
ask?
I just found out.
Did you ask?
No, of course I didn't ask.
Why not?
I believe that's illegal. Oh, well, either way, I absolutely didn't ask. And I wasn't full-time employing him. He was just a contractor who would come and do it. So no, I didn't ask.
Geronimo's not an awful human being. Maybe he is. I don't know. But
I have no idea either.
In this
All
context,
I'm saying
good
is,
painting?
Fantastic painting.
Okay.
None better.
That being said.
Geronimo knew his stuff, dude.
Now.
Drywall whisperer.
You don't put acrylic on plastic. Sorry. Would you have hired him?
If he was illegal, I mean, probably not. I would have looked for other options.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, but what I'm saying is first off, I'm not an employer, right? I was a dude who needed a room painted. Okay. So like, that's not the same as being like, I'm a contractor.
This was life before the ranch when Matt Todd put stuff on credit card. Now he walks in flush with cash, and the tables open up.
Yeah, I'm not like my wife's father is a construction attorney, right? So I know a lot about liability, and I also was informed early on in my adult life. A friend of mine was like, I had a roofing problem, and he's like, call General Roofing, and I was like, okay, and he's like, they're expensive. I'm like, okay, thanks for that second piece. Is there a cheaper guy? They're like, listen to me. Roofing is not something where you want to go with the cheapest. You want people that are licensed, bonded, insured, the whole thing. I'm telling you right now, they're not cheap, but you will sleep easier. I'm like, okay, got it. And my father-in-law, again, a construction attorney, understands nuances of legality and liability and all of these things. So for people wanting to save a couple bucks, if they're like, okay, this person is here illegally, but dude, he's like $2 an hour cheaper than the next guy.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's a calculus that they enjoy.
You need irrigation lines, Doug? Done.
Sure.
Done tomorrow, son. Done.
Did you ever see Dallas Buyers Club?
Oh, yeah.
That opening scene when the dude gets stuck in the machinery and the foreman's like, I can't call an ambulance. It's here illegal. And Matthew McConaughey's like, what is wrong with you? Call an ambulance. Call a goddamn ambulance right now. And he goes to turn off the power and gets knocked out. That's when he finds out he has AIDS. That's a terrible situation.
Right.
It's absolutely horrible. Right. And that's, again, I will not accept that the industry doesn't realize it has a problem and has nothing and doesn't have any culpability or responsibility with it. If you want to lump a bunch of people together that are unrelated to each other and say they know or don't know things, it's fine for me. Right. I think there are plenty,
they did that. I didn't do it.
Plenty of industries that acknowledge, like, we have a problem with labor. But once we go down to a specific person, like, this is Bob. Bob is an employer whatever.
Not schizophrenic Bob.
Might be the same guy, but before the problem. The point is, this is Bob, and he's employing. He's in an industry. He has to ask for papers. If he accuses somebody of being here illegally, they can sue the hell out of him. Like, we have all of these problems. We're like, we can't even, like, if they present papers. If they present things, and I've had Luke Ankeny from Marsing Ag Labor on many times. He's like, we have to get papers verifying these things from every single person. And it's like, okay, that seems really, and he's like, and if we accuse them of being here illegal and they've presented us with papers, they can sue the hell out of us. I'm like, this seems more complex than people want it to be.
Yeah.
That's just a thought.
But the only issue I had with any of it was the lack of these, what I would say, multi-million-dollar organizations saying, this is all the government's fault. This is all somebody else's fault. This is the past administration's fault. This is the government's fault. This is the lack of H-2-1A stuff. And when it first presented to me, it was an ag problem. It was the dairy and Farm Bureau.
Sure.
And then the builders got involved.
Right.
And then hospitality got involved. I'm thinking, well, wait a second. I mean, Simpson, who you've had on,
many times.
He's a huge proponent of this. And you know what? I actually don't hate the bill. I don't hate the idea, except for the lack of responsibility on those who have knowingly benefited from this. And this is just a statement of faith, because you just won't get me to believe that these employers don't have any of this. And my thing is, you know what?
And Nate, let me be clear. They may. I'm just saying, to say categorically, because you're in this industry, you must think these things.
Right.
I don't appreciate that.
I'm a broad brush guy.
I guarantee you there's somebody employing an illegal immigrant in Idaho who knows the immigrant is illegal.
Right.
That does not mean everybody who employs an illegal immigrant in Idaho knew that that person was illegal.
Right, but I'm prejudiced.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's why I invite you on.
Not racist. I'm prejudiced. It's two different things.
Completely.
So that being said, when they want to punish, when they want to fine the illegal, to 25 to $5,000,
Sure,
whatever, and that all they're getting is a permanent green card.
right.
Do they have a job?
Yeah, they had to have been gainfully employed.
Like right now, they have a job right now. Cool. Make that $10,000. Make that 5 on the person, 5 on the employer. Period.
And Nate Shelman would go home happy.
And
slap their hand a little bit.
Yeah, because for Geronimo, it's $5,000 that's gonna suck.
Right.
But for Acme Incorporated, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, okay, this is gonna hurt. But it's not amnesty. It's not a get out of jail free card, because you're probably going to check a little more diligently and not turn too many blind eyes when somebody comes back to you and says, "Hey, so and so is actually telling other people that they're illegal." And the CEO might not know unless they commission a study and then present it at the State House.
Sure.
But people do. People know. I don't know how much of this stuff, if I get one more flag bill, I'm going to lose my mind. Between now and the end of the session, if somebody tells me which flag gets to go up where and who's going to get fined what for what flag, I'm going to ask them right now, do we have a budget overage? Are we clear on that?
I just had one of the leaders of the Basque community in. I got another one, Basque historian coming in.
Tell them they're not a country. Tell them they're not a country. Oh, wait. Eat the paella first. Then tell them. Then tell them they're not a country. Tell them they're not a country, and then run.
You know what I love, man? These are the conversations that I think our country is going to come back to having, and not the flag. And by the way, Horseshoe Bend, it's my understanding every year with the seniors graduating, they put flags of the kids that are graduating up on the street poles. That was about to get taken down, because it's a flag on government property. Anyway, my point is,
thank God we fixed the world's problems. No flag goes there in Horseshoe Bend.
None. But these
Bonners Ferry can't put the Canadian flag in front of City Hall, even though there's if it's not Bonners Ferry, it's somewhere else up north. Forgive me, where they have like a regular thing with the schools. I think the schools actually play each other regularly, and no, you can't fly that flag here. Stupid.
All because of an argument in Boise. I really hope, and I don't know because I haven't been there that long, but I really hope I see politics in Idaho turn into not an argument in Boise that we take to the state level lawmaking for it that has unintended consequences. I just hope we get back to talking about labor, talking about transportation, talking about other things. I hope elections are won and lost on pragmatic issues that Idahoans need help with.
We just dated ourselves. I mean, it's almost an entertainment game now, and it's sad because the content gets lost, and maybe to some degree I'm at fault for that, probably more than you. So just due to length of service here,
How are you at fault for this?
Oh, I mean, everything's the media's fault. It was the media's fault that somebody drove an ambulance into a portico building. It was the media's fault that somebody damaged the Department of Homeland Security building, and it wasn't. It was a lady who was wearing khakis. So just also note to self: if you're about to commit arson, don't use your customer card. Now you know.
Now you know. Now that is your fault because somebody's going to not use a customer card.
But, we get so riled up, cut off our nose to spite our face, which is part of your Department of Corrections problem.
Dude, help me understand this.
I know you're. I know
but
you're
like,
right.
I genuinely, it's like, I can't unlearn the things that I've been learning where it's like, this isn't like, and I hate to even say it this way, but it's like, this isn't fair. You guys are talking about like fiscal responsibility and all these things. You're cutting the state budget. Nate's paying for it, not the people in Lewis County. They don't even have a jail. We're paying for it. That's not fair, man. That's not just. That's not right.
Is it better now or better when we had the Corrections Corporation?
Well, I would assume from a humanitarian perspective, it's better now.
You go assuming.
Well, I wasn't here.
Humanitarian perspective or cost benefit?
If
because you're riled up about the cost benefit right now.
Sure.
Okay. Because for me,
no, I'm cost distribution. The cost is getting distributed onto a small number of people.
I'm the guy that's going to disagree with the ACLU, and I'll look at a jail cell and say, well, if you can fit 8 men in there comfortably or uncomfortably, I don't care. It's jail. Sorry, prison. Whatever. You know what? Love happens. Put 8 of them in there. Good luck. But, I guess they are able to not have to do that, and they can only limit them to 2 or however many.
You ever watch The Office? What about that dude when they merged offices who had done time in prison because of like...
I've watched 3 episodes of The Office.
Well, there was an episode where they merge offices and one guy's like a felon and they're like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, dude, I had some securities fraud problems, but I did my time. Like, it's okay. Yeah. Right. So it's kind of like, I understand what you're saying, which is, hey, let's make life hell.
Right.
I don't know that saves us money in the long run, because if you make life hell, then you're going to have those people back in. The recidivism is increased. So what we want to do is you and I want to save money, because guess what? You didn't do securities fraud, and I sure as hell didn't. I don't even own a stock or a bond.
Right.
So we haven't done that. And what I want is to spend as little possible money on.
You don't own a stock or bond?
I don't. I don't own a single one. I don't even have a CD.
What the hell? What the hell does your wife do? What do you do?
Nothing.
What do you
have
do?
Do
you just count her money? Is that all you do? You go home at night and you go, what did you bring home to Papa?
You want to know something funny? She and I both grew up so broke, and we had anxiety about food in houses. We have 4 refrigerators now.
Oh my gosh.
Because we both have anxieties around
Good
like
for you.
not having enough. Actually, it's 3 refrigerators and 1 giant freezer.
But people don't know what it's like to be that poor. I know what it's like to be that poor.
We can't help it too.
Right.
It's like, I was like, maybe we need another one. It's like, we don't. It shows up the next week. I'm like, I can't help it. I can't.
I need emergency frozen pizzas.
Like it's a lot. But I want to spend as little money as possible on the Idaho Department of Corrections, which means we need as few people in the Idaho Department of Corrections without not, convicting people that have broken the laws.
Right.
Which means one of those things is making sure these people don't come back. Whatever you did, whatever help you need, it's probably cheaper than me incarcerating you again to the tune of, I don't know, like $80,000 a year. So yeah, we can put 8 people in a room. It's going to cost us more money in the end. I want to spend as little money as possible.
How many out-of-state people are in the Idaho prison?
Oh, you mean like people from other states or illegal immigrants?
No, other states.
Okay. People that were residents of other states when they were convicted in Idaho, or somebody who got convicted and charged in Wyoming, but Wyoming shipped them into Idaho?
That one.
I don't know that we have any, because we're shipping our own inmates out. I can find out.
I was going to say, don't assume it's only one way. Don't assume, because tradesies happen.
Listen to me right now.
Oh my God.
I'm texting Bree Derrick.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to find out right now.
That's good, because I have a 1:00 meeting.
Okay, fantastic.
I was up until 11 o'clock last night because our commander in chief decided to speak for 2 hours.
Who spoke for 2 hours?
Trump.
I'm sorry, bro. I had to...
State of the Union was last night.
It was,
bro.
What's happening? What is the State of the Union?
Strong. The economy's roaring, and well, I think the one part that stood out to me was, if you believe the number one function of the country is to work for the people rather than illegal immigrants, stand up, and half the gallery stood up. That was kind of a interesting moment. I actually left my office to go back into the air studio just to see the monitors. I mean, it was a great get. As far as a moment goes, but the speech could have been an hour.
Speech could have been an hour.
It could have been an hour. There was a lot of awards. Actually, I would have rather had the awards than a lot of the speech.
So back to the thing about me paying attention to Idaho, and also that I do all my own production, so I have to get up at like 4:30 to do it.
Oh.
So I fall asleep very early.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Poor me.
poor
me. Oh my gosh. You know what I need? I need a Sophie. I need a Sophie like right over there.
Is your work getting in the way of your work? Oh, is the work too hard?
Is working the way? No, it's all one way, baby. I crush it. Although Sophie was so nice. She's like, it's like a snake, and it's, it comes through. I'm like, oh my God, so cool. If I fucking Python, like, I don't know. Is that like a coding language? Like, I don't know what you're saying to me right now.
Was she talking to you about like rope servers and stuff?
No,
or
I don't know what you just said to me. Like, what the hell's a rope server?
Like linear editing, or what is?
I don't know. I don't know what any of that means.
You yell more than I do.
I get worked up.
My Lord.
I'm just telling you, I have a MacBook Pro and an audio interface.
How much caffeine are you on right now?
I had 6 cups before 9 a.m.
Do you want to know what I gave up for Lent?
What?
Everything.
That's unfortunate. Oh, you're just drinking water.
I'll eat anything. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. No coffee. No tea. No iced tea.
I thought you were Jewish, bro.
No. Oh, sorry. My mom was a nun. My dad was Jewish.
Okay.
Mom had a thing for Jews. So that's really all I want to. We're still talking about my parents.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So no, yeah. So last year I gave up coffee, but then I found out that I just went to tea. So now I'm straight water all the way through Lent.
Oh, good for you. How long is Lent?
Too damn long. Till Easter.
Wait, that's like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, how
I'm
do you
stupid.
Feel? Are you feeling recovered after your caffeine, withdrawals? That's your mother.
That's my mom. Here,
Bless you.
Can you show that there? That's my mom. That's my mom and her habit. That is 19.
It's beautiful.
I want to say that's 1950-ish. Somewhere in there. Maybe.
How long was she in the Covenant?
Convent.
Convent, not the Covenant.
3 years.
Wow.
And then I don't know what she did to get out. The story I tell is that my dad, my mom, and my mom couldn't be a nun anymore. The truth is they didn't know each other when my mom left the convent.
Oh.
So, yeah. But dad liked it when I told that, and it would make mom angry. So...
Well, that is why you were the favorite and least favorite child all in one.
I was it.
This is why they only had one child.
Yeah.
You were so bad, you knocked out the desire to procreate right out of them.
Done. So, no, I mean, between now and the end, man, good luck.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of posturing in the last month.
More
so than you've seen in the past.
Do you want to come with me to go do some of the interviews in other parts of the state?
I would rather slam my dick in a car door.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Come on. Come to the Magic Valley. It'll be magical, Nate.
I've been.
Come again.
No, I've been.
Do you want to come with me to the nuclear reactor at ISU?
Yes.
April 1st.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that during the week?
Yes. You can do the show from ISU. You know you can.
I know I can. I gotta do the whole schedule.
Okay, forget that. Do you want to come to Moscow with me?
For
interview the mayor, hot take Haley? She's wild. I met her. She's like 34 or 33 or something.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't know they even allowed people this young to take positions of power. That's wild. I just appreciate it because I'm like, what a podcast is. That's great.
Yeah, that's more your realm. For me, that's outside my great state of Ada. Canyon County zone.
You don't want to come to like Salmon and see Salmon?
I do.
Okay.
I want to.
This is what we'll do. We'll do shows on the road. We'll do dash cam and like lapel mics and do radio podcasts the whole way. It'll be great. Maybe not the whole way. Maybe just 2 hours.
Your mouth to God's ears. No, I passed up a ticket to the State of the Union last night because I had to work.
Wait, the one in D.C.? Like you're going to fly out to D.C.?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's wild.
Mm-hmm. Because I had to work.
Well, I passed up watching it on my couch, so there's that. You've worked remotely.
Yes, I have, but I would have had to miss the show because I would have been on an airplane.
Okay. There you go.
That sucks.
Listen to me, Nate.
I
I
gotta
appreciate you. You got to get. I gotta get you to get. Thank you for coming in, my guy. I'm excited about the end of the session.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on.
Cheers.